The headlines that we are seeing recently in 2026 are striking, with the outbreak of the Ebola viruses dominating the international news. While US recently implemented travel restrictions to green card holders from the affected African nations, it is understandably that we feel anxious about the whole situation. It is time like this that fear spread faster than any biological agent. And that got me thinking about the exact cultural text that taught the modern world how to panic over hemorrhagic fevers. Richard Preston's 1994 book, The Hot Zone. Today, we are going to have a look at this absolute classic through a 2026 lens. Before we dive into the blood-curdling details of this book, and if you want to grab a book and read it for yourself, I have placed an affiliate links for this book in Amazon. It costs you no extra to click on the link, but I do get a small percentage of commission that really helps this channel to grow and produce quality contents like this one. Also, The Hot Zone has inspired my very own book called Deadly Cure, which is based on Ebola outbreaks. So if you want to check that out, the links is also in the description down below. Is it a masterpiece in science communication, or is it the ultimate blueprint for public hysteria? Let us break it down. There is a reason why Hot Zone spent 43 weeks on the New York bestseller list. Preston doesn't just write about the virus, but he writes as if the virus is ancient, sentient monsters. His prose is immediate, viscous, and utterly terrifying. To give you an idea of how Preston set the stage, look at how he described the initial progression of the virus on Charles Monet, the book's very first patient. It reads like a Hollywood script for a zombie movie, and it gets worse. Here is how the virus affects internal organs. Preston writes,
"His eyes are the color of rubies, and his face is an expressionless mass of bruises. The red spots, which a few days before had started out as star-like speckles, have expanded and merged into huge, spontaneous purple shadows. His whole head is turning black and blue. The muscles of his face droop. The connective tissue in his face is dissolving, and his face appears to hang visibly from the underlying bone, as if the face is detaching itself from the skull. His liver had ceased functioning several days before he died. It was yellow, and parts of it had liquefied. It looked like the liver of a 3-day-old corpse. It was as if Monet had become a corpse before his death."
Now trust me on this, there are far more disturbing and highly graphical passages in the book detailing physical destruction of the human body. I decided not to read them out in this video because I think they are too disturbing for a general book review video like this one. They print a picture of how the disease deconstructs a human body from inside. A piece of thriller non-fiction. It is absolutely undeniable. However, as a piece of science journalism, this is where the book faced severe real-world criticism from epidemiologists and virologists. They call the book a pain in their backside because just how heavily it sensationalizes the disease. The reality of Ebola is horrific. However, it is not a science fiction movie. The liquefying myth. While Ebola does cause internal blood clotting and organ damage, human organs does not literally dissolve or liquefy, nor does a patient's face detach from his skull as so vividly described in the book. Preston took the rarest clinical observations and sensationalized them to make the disease look almost supernatural. The airborne fallacy. The book also implied that the virus can mutate and becomes airborne, which would be a nightmare scenario. Imagine COVID, but with a much higher fatality rate. Luckily for us, this simply isn't true. Preston took the Reston virus variant and applied that to the general Ebola viruses. By exaggerating the symptoms and hinting at airborne apocalypse, Preston created this culture myth around Ebola. That makes objective public health management much harder. And that brings us right back to 2026. Why does a 30-year-old book matter today? Because of the sensationalized horror popularized by the hot zone has deeply shaped how the publics and the politicians react to outbreaks. When a government reacts to the public health outbreak by banning green card holders from an entire region, the decision isn't strictly driven by clinical epidemiology. Public health experts generally agree that a rigorous airport screening, contact tracing, and a supportive healthcare infrastructure on the ground are far more effective than blanket border bans. Instead, these sweeping, panic-driven are the exact imagery that Preston had put into our cultural consciousness. The fear of an invisible, unstoppable, exotic killer crossing the borders to liquefy the population. But the most disturbing passages in the hot zone isn't about the transmission of the disease, nor is symptom. It's about the metaphor. Near the end of the book, Preston steps back from the thriller narrative and asks,
what if Ebola isn't just a virus? That Ebola, AIDS, and other emerging viruses are not random accidents. They are the Earth's immune response to the human parasite. We are the infection. The virus is the cure.
It is a haunting pseudo-religious framing. Whilst this thinking might appeal to certain people, scientifically speaking, it is completely nonsense. Viruses do not have intentions. Ecosystems do not think. But as a piece of writing that depict us in relation to nature, it is incredibly powerful. So what's my verdict? Should you read The Hot Zone in 2026? Absolutely. But you should read it as a piece of cultural history and psychological thriller, and not as a medical textbook. Enjoy the narrative pacing, appreciate the tension, but read it critically. So that's it, guys. That is the video. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do so, please give it a thumb up, share it with a friend, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out the links in the description down below. Cheerio.